Spontaneous Tuesday with Zion Brock. I want to talk about a word that I think you and I both deal with. If you're watching this channel, if you follow me, have any interest in what I say, you probably use this word all the time, and your life revolves around this word. And that word is the word how. HOW. You've probably heard the concept of there are some people that are who people. They're constantly wondering who did this, who said that, who said that, or when people, or where people, where was that done, when did this happen, people into history. Then there's why people, like my sister's a why person. She wants to know the philosophy behind things. She wants to dig into everything, which is exhausting. I'm just kidding. Um, then there's people like me. I'm a how person. I'm constantly wanting to know how things work. And if I look back on my life, I can really see this pattern my entire life of wanting to know how to do things, how things work, how things happen. When I was a kid, I wanted to know how people juggled and how people could walk on stilts and how people could ride a unicycle. And so I learned to do all those things, balancing things on my nose. I was really into circus acts for a long time. That's a story for another time. But don't get me started on my baton twirling. Anyway, I love that idea of how because it's this curiosity. It's like how in the world can somebody capture the magic of that incredible well, drums is a big one. I When I saw someone playing drums, I'm like, how do they do that? That looks so cool. The ability to have all your limbs moving in different directions is so amazing to me. I need to know how. And so I spent years learning the drums, music production, songwriting. I spent some time trying to do hockey, playing hockey, ice hockey, um, taking voice lessons, day trading, real estate, 3D printing, painting, um, gosh, a lot of stuff. And it's because of this one question: how is that possible that someone can do that? And I think a lot of people that love 3D printing are people that are how people. And I'm using that. I think most people would say, well, they have an engineering or technical mind, and maybe that's part of it. Maybe that's part of it, but let's be more general because there's a lot of people that follow my channel and are in the 3D printing space that love it for other reasons, but they're not necessarily engineers, but they have this love for how things are made and the ability to make something. But I want to invite you to think about something. If you are on my channel, you might resonate with this. I think the word how actually robs people of a lot of wonderful personal interaction, friendships, and conversation. The reason is when you are constantly asking how things are done and how things are made, you start accidentally applying that to things that are very interpersonal and very spontaneous, like conversation. And so you approach conversation like an engineer. How do we talk to each other? Okay, is it your turn? Is it my turn? Have you been heard enough? Have I been heard enough? How many words have you said and how many have I said? When we get together, do we need an icebreaker? How do we? It's almost like you apply some kind of formula or a directional, manual, an instructional manual to everything in your life. I do this. I find myself doing this for things they do not require this, like cleaning the house. I want to put together a checklist. I want to put together and yes, it is efficient, but picking up groceries. I want to be the most efficient grocery shopper. And so I'll think about the aisles I need to go down and how to contextualize so that I don't waste time down different aisles. You start applying this sort of efficiency, this sort of recipe to everything. I think in some ways it's really helpful, but in other ways, especially in interpersonal ways, it's very detrimental. And I think it hurts a lot of engineers, and they don't really understand what's going on. But what I'm telling you, if you're an engineer, if you're somebody that is a how person, and you've been driven by that question, I would challenge to ask you, has that affected your life negatively in your interpersonal skills? The amount of times I've been interacting with people at a party or a social or dinner, and they just flow spontaneously. They can just talk without editing themselves constantly. In fact, even making this video, this is the second time I make this video because the first time I stuttered so much And I realized I'd have to edit it so much. I just realized just do it over again. This is hard for me to be this spontaneous, but I'm doing this more because I want to become more spontaneous. And I want to divide, I want those how questions to be applied more for my hobbies and for the things that are appropriate, and less for things like a quick video. I admire people that can just jump on camera and just talk for a bit. It's a great skill to have. And I find that in my video making, I'm slowing down for my own channel because I keep editing the F out of everything. And I'm talking even before I even start hitting record, I start thinking about all the different sections. Do I apply this? Do I apply this? Do I filter it through this? What kind of story do I want to tell? What's the narrative? What's the tone? What kind of music? What kind of, and I do that so much that it kills my momentum. It's both my superpower to know how to do things, to be curious, but it's also killing my joy in a lot of things. Can you relate to this?